everyone, it's Amanda here. Welcome to Fresh Start. As we get set up for our practice tonight, if you didn't read my comment in the group previously, you might wish to have your variation of blocks for this practice, or a blanket, a pillow, something like that for a little extra support whenever we're down on the ground. And we're gonna have a couple of guests tonight, at least until my husband gets home from work. Otherwise, they'd be scratching down the door the whole time to get in. So hopefully they don't distract you too much. I won't let them distract me too much. And let's get started laying down on our mat. So whatever position is comfortable for you, laying all the way down on your spine. And just take a moment to set up what feels good for you. So maybe that's legs fully extended, arms down by your side, coming into a pre-Shavasana Shavasana. Maybe that's coming into your Supta Baddha Konasana. Right hand to the low belly, left hand to the heart. And again, just finding that shape that suits your body in this moment. And once you've found that shape, let's take a few deep breaths in through the nose and exhale, sigh out the mouth. In through the nose and out through the mouth. One more just like that, letting go of the day, in and out. Allowing the body to soften and allowing the breath to come back to its natural rhythm as you close down the eyes and prepare for practice. Beginning a scan of the body from head to toe, checking in with yourself, being honest with yourself today. Notice what feels good, what feels right, what doesn't. Setting these mental reminders to continue to check in with your body as we go through our practice. And let's come back to that deep, full breath. This time inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the nose. Maybe you make that breath audible. On your inhale, feeling a sense of lightness pulling you away from the mat. And as you exhale, feel the sensation of grounding. This is going to be one of the themes for our practice today. Inhaling, feeling light, and exhale, arriving in heaviness. A few more just like that. In and out. Inhale, creating space, and exhale, settling into that space. Finally, taking a moment to set the intention for your practice. And then allowing the eyes to gently open. Bringing the hands to the outer edges of the thighs, or just walking the knees in towards the chest, reaching for the fronts of the knees, the shins, giving yourself a nice squeeze here. And as you squeeze the knees into the chest, also squeeze the knees in towards one another. Trying to keep the spine nice and long on the mat. Notice how this creates some tension on the outer edges of those hips. One more deep breath in and out. Slowly releasing the feet down to the mat, knees up. We're going to cross that right leg over the left to start, just like ladies do. And then draw both knees back in towards the chest as we set up for our supine shoelace. So maybe grabbing onto the front side of that left knee, pulling them in, maybe grabbing on to the front sides of the shins or the ankles as you draw the knees in towards the chest. Try to keep the spine nice and long on the earth, back of the head resting on the mat. With each inhale, create space. And with your exhale, work to fill that space, even if only a little bit. Allow the breath to guide you as you soften in. One more breath. And slowly releasing, bringing that left foot down to the mat. Just being gentle as you come out, uncrossing the legs. Adjust the hips if you need to. And then we'll move to the other side. Left leg lifts and crosses over the right. Draw the knees in towards the chest. And then grab onto whatever you can. Maybe that's the front side of the right knee, the outer edges of the shins, or all the way down to the ankles. We're working towards stacking the knees here, but if it's not happening for you today, don't worry about it, don't force it. Just setting that as an intention eventually. And again, breathing in here. Breathing into that left hip. With each breath, settling in a little deeper. One more just like that. And then slowly begin to release whatever you have a hold of. Right foot comes down to the mat, uncrossing the legs. Bringing the feet wide on the mat, and then just a gentle sway of the knees from side to side, windshield wipering the legs. Coming back to center. Once you're even on both sides, let's draw those knees back in towards the chest but wide, so towards the armpits. Keep the spine nice and long on the mat. And with the knees drawn in wide, we're going to start to find some momentum, rocking and rolling until you can gently allow the feet to plant wide on the earth. Draw the heart forward in between the thighs. Lift it up on the inhale. As you exhale, rolling all the way back down. Inhale, back up, plant the feet, draw the heart through, inhale. Exhale, roll down. Inhale, plant the feet, draw up, lift the collarbones, lift the gaze. Exhale, lower. Inhale, plant the feet and lift. Exhale, lower. Last one, lifting. And this time slowly returning all the way down to your spine. Rolling off to one side of your mat, pressing yourself all the way up, and coming up onto the shins. So tuck those feet in underneath you, tops of the feet on the earth. This is where you might want to grab onto a blanket or a block here, or I'm sorry, a blanket or a pillow. Placing it either underneath the feet, if the angle is a little sensitive for you. You can place that blanket or the pillow underneath the hips in case the quads are a little tight, or you can place it underneath the knees if the knees are a little sensitive. So just take a moment here, settling in. Sitting back onto the heels. Try to tuck the tailbone under, shoulders over the hips. Maybe those hands rest on the tops of the thighs. Lift the chin up so it's parallel with the earth. Softly gazing forward. exhale, hands come down by your sides. Inhale, lift the arms, lift the hips up and forward. As you do, tuck those toes under and then sit the hips back onto the heels. With all 10 toes tucked under here, grab opposite elbows, picture frame the face up overhead. So as you do that, the ribs will want to spread forward. Try to keep the tailbone tucked, knit the ribs together. Toes might be a little sensitive here. To take a little bit of the weight out of the toes, feel that sensation of lightness come over the body as you lift through the arms, through the elbows. Pull the elbows away from one another. Find length through the upper body. One more breath. And then slowly exhale, bringing hands down to the earth, coming to tabletop, hands and knees. Fingers spread nice and wide, shoulders over the wrists and hips over the knees. As you inhale, drop the belly, lift the gaze forward. As you exhale, round it out, spread the shoulder blades towards the sky. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the gaze forward. And exhale, round yourself out. Moving back and forth with your own breath pace. Feel free to add on any other movements that feel nice here. Taking a few more rounds just like that to loosen up. Again, let go of the day. And then coming back to a nice neutral spine, hands and knees. From here, we're going to tuck those toes under again. Walk the hands back beside the knees and lift the knees up off the earth. Coming up onto the toes, draw the knees together as you allow the fingertips to drift by your sides. Begin to stack shoulders over the hips. Keep that tailbone nice and tucked. So hands down by your sides if you're worried about support, or if you'd like to challenge yourself, maybe sweeping those arms back up overhead and grabbing opposite elbows again, this time in the opposite direction. Draw the elbows apart towards the edges of your mat. And again, begin to find that lift. Slight lift through the hips, taking some of the weight out of the toes. And then slowly get lighter and lighter as you begin to rise all the way up to standing. Heels come down to the mat. Exhale, hands through heart center as you hinge and fold. Inhaling, halfway lift. And exhale, let it go. Grabbing opposite elbows, let's picture frame the face and hang here in our ragdoll. Maybe you widen the stance, walking the feet about hip distance apart or wider. Find that gentle sway from side to side. Working to create length through the back side of the body. Shake the head yes and no. And then making your way back to center, hands come down to the mat. Inhaling, halfway lift. And exhale, fold. Earth to sky, rising all the way up as you inhale. Exhale, hands pass through heart center, Samastitipi. Inhale, circle sweep. As you exhale, let it go, hinge and fold. Inhaling, halfway lift. Find that length, find that lightness away from the mat. And exhale, let it go. Earth to sky all the way up. And exhale, hands to heart center. One more just like that. Inhale, circle sweep. And exhale, hinge and fold. Inhaling, halfway lift. Find that length. And as you exhale, fold. Earth to sky all the way up. And exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, circle sweep the arms up overhead. This time as you exhale, soften into the knees, sink the hips, find your chair pose. If the feet are apart, make sure that those knees are apart as well. Send the shins towards the back of your mat, tailbone down. Knit the ribs together on the front side of the body. And then slowly begin to shift your weight into the toes. Lift the heels away from the earth. And then we're going to reverse what we did before. So slowly lowering hips down to the heels. Start to stack the shoulders over the hips. Again, hands can be down by your side if you're worried about balance and support. Inhale, reaching the arms up, and as you reach up through the fingertips, begin to lift the hips up off the heels just a few inches. Coming to that nice sweet spot that's a little shaky. And then inhale, rising all the way back up to your mountain pose. Exhale, hands pass through heart center as you hinge and fold. Inhale, halfway lift. As you exhale, let's begin to walk the hands towards the top of the mat or the feet back, depending on where you are. And find your downward facing dog. Begin to walk it out here, pedaling into one leg and then the other. Just finding that space that you need in your body today. Maybe you shift forward into plank, and then back to your downward facing dog. And whenever you're ready, we'll find stillness in our downward facing dog. Pressing the fingertips down and forward on the mat. Working to lengthen out the arms. Spread those inner thighs towards the back of your mat as you press into the inner arch of the foot. Inhale, lift the gaze forward. Exhale, one footprint at a time. Make your way all the way up to your forward fold at the top of the mat. Inhaling, halfway lift. And exhale, fold. Earth to sky, all the way up. And exhale, sweep the hands behind the back, interlace the fingers. Lift the heart as you drag the knuckles towards the earth. Draw the shoulder blades together on the back. Begin to soften into the knees as you sink down into your chair. Again, instead of arcing out through the back, try to tuck the tailbone under. Knit the ribs together. Maybe a little ballistic movement here, a soft bounce. Deep breath in. Exhale, begin to extend the legs, hinge and fold. Maybe keeping a slight bend in the legs. Hands can stay at the low back or reach up overhead towards the front of the mat. Use the breath to help you settle in. On your inhale, halfway lift, hands come back to the low back. As you exhale, hinge and fold. Bend into the knees. Sweep the arms up, find your chair pose. As you inhale, root to rise, lift the left knee into the chest. From here, we're going to begin making circles with that knee in one direction. So working to gently open up the hip. Try not to make those circles so big that your right hip starts to open up towards the left edge of your mat. Just using the left knee and the left hip, reverse the circles. Try to keep that balance here. Try to keep the integrity in the standing leg. Slowly step that left foot down. Exhale, airplane the arms, finding chair. As you inhale, rise up, right knee into the chest. Find that balance here. Draw that right hip down in space. And then begin making circles with the right knee and right hip. Belly's engaged, helping you stand up nice and tall here. then slowly allow that right foot to step down to meet the left. Exhale, airplane the arms, sink into your chair. Inhale, root to rise. And exhale, hinge and fold. Let's plant the hands. Inhale, halfway lift. As you exhale, step it back. High plank pose. Full or modified, your choice. We'll shift it forward. Shoulders come past the wrist. Halfway down, lower. Inhale, take your back bend, upward facing dog or cobra. And exhale, meeting in our downward facing dog. On your inhale, right leg reaches up and back. As you exhale, we're going to step that right foot outside the right hand. Lower down onto the back knee. From here, nice wide lunge. Walk the hands up onto that right thigh. Interlace the fingers. So make sure that the hands are about halfway up the thigh. And if this ever becomes too much, feel free to bring the hands down to the mat. But from here, we're going to sink the hips down and forward. And then, as you exhale, we're going to extend that front leg and find our half splits. So you probably won't go as deep as you normally do because you have that added pressure of the upper body. Inhale, lunge, sink the hips forward. Exhale, extend the leg and fold. So we're using our own body weight here to help us, assist us in this stretch. Again, if it ever becomes too much or your muscles are too unstable, feel free to bring the hands down to the mat for your lunge and then for your half split fold. Back and forth, just a few more times. Inhale, forward, plant that right foot, tuck the back toes under, lift the back knee, and step it forward. Wide squat. So toes out, heels in. Lift the arms up to parallel, reach the fingertips forward while simultaneously drawing the shoulders together on the back side of the body. Nice and low, wide squat here. Inhale, root to rise, hands pass through heart center. Circle, sweep the arms up overhead, maybe a slight back bend. Exhale, hinge and fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step that left foot all the way back. Nice wide lunge here. Inhale, shine the collarbones forward. Exhale, extend that front leg as you pour the heart forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step it back, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift that left leg up and back. Exhale, step the left foot outside the left hand. And again, lowering down to that back knee. From here, you tried it on the other side. If it didn't feel good, it might not feel good on this side either, but you can feel free to try. Interlacing the hands on top of the left thigh. Draw the heart open, send the hips down and forward. This is our inhale. As you exhale, extend that front leg. Draw the left toes towards the sky, fold. Left hip drawing back in space. Inhale, finding that lunge, sink it forward. And exhale, hinge and fold. Again, probably not as deep as you're used to going in this pose, but find that muscular control. Find the balance here. Back and forth with the breath. Inhale. And exhale. Last one, hinging forward. Open up. From here, those hands will plant. Tuck the back toes under, lift the back knee, and step it forward, coming into that wide squat. Toes out, heels in. Lift the heart forward, reach the fingertips forward, draw the shoulders together. Engage the glutes to hold you here. Inhale, root to rise, hands pass through heart center. Circle, sweep the arms, press the hips forward, maybe a back bend, inhale. Exhale, let it go. Inhaling, halfway lift. And exhale, plant the hands, step that right foot all the way back. Nice wide lunge here. Inhale, lift the heart forward. Exhale, extend that front leg as you begin to fold. Inhaling, halfway lift. Exhale, step it up and back to downward facing dog. Inhale, rising up onto the toes. Exhale, hinging forward into plank. And then slowly shift it forward, lower down, and go through your flow. Meeting back in our downward facing dog. Inhale, lifting the gaze forward to the top of the mat. Walking, stepping, hopping, all the way to the top. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, let it go. Inhale, halfway lift. As you exhale, bend the knees, sink the hips, sweep the arms up to chair. From here, ground through that left foot and come up onto the toes of the right. So really using those right toes to help you find balance and stability here. And then slowly begin to lean the upper body forward. As you step those right toes back, extend the leg, and then allow the right toes to kiss the mat as you rise up, crescent lunge. Adjust the stance if you need to. Drawing that left hip back in space, send the right hip forward. Work to stack shoulders over the hips. And again, feel a sense of lightness pulling you away from the mat. Almost like an invisible string. Deep breath in. Exhale, lean it forward, reverse. So we'll slowly step those right toes forward. Plant the right foot to meet the left, find chair. Inhale. Exhale, airplane the arms. Inhale, sweep it back up. This time, coming up onto the toes of the left foot. Find your balance, find your stability. As you lean forward, lift the left leg back. And then slowly allow the left toes to kiss the mat. Rise up, crescent lunge. Again, softening into the legs. Right hip draws back in space. Lift that back knee skyward. Maybe even finding some gentle movement with the breath as you kind of ease and settle. Inhale. Exhale, leaning forward. Step that left foot forward to meet the right. Bend the knees, sink the hips, find chair. Deep breath in. Exhale, airplane the arms. Inhale, root to rise all the way to standing. And exhale, hinge and fold. Inhaling, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step or hop it back. And go through your flow. Take a deep breath in and out, settle in. Inhale, gazing forward. Exhale, feet go to the top of the mat, step or hop. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, bend those knees, sink the hips, find your chair. So adding on, we'll inhale up onto the right toes. Exhale, leaning forward, right leg goes back in space. Slowly lowering right toes down to the earth. Rise up, crescent. Again, checking in here. Taking just a few breaths, making sure the front knee is over the ankle. Back knees lifting skyward. So finding that balance here between rooting and lifting. Again, tucking tailbone under. One more deep breath in and out. Inhale, open up, warrior two, back foot spins down all the way. So let's start to open up those hips, pressing into the outer edge of the foot and the heel so that that back hip opens up. Deep bend in that front knee, working to have the thigh parallel with the earth. Shoulders draw together on the back. This is our inhale. Exhale, settle. One more deep breath in. Exhale, interlacing the fingers behind the group back or grabbing opposite elbows. Lift the heart And then slowly begin to hinge inside that front thigh as you find a humble warrior with your warrior two legs. So instead of allowing the hips to push out towards the left side of your mat, try to keep them tucked, drawing the left knee and left shoulder towards one another. Back legs engaged. Draw that left hamstring towards the back of your mat. Slowly release the hands down to the low back, and then bring the hands inside that left foot. Walk the hands away from the body, taking a nice long body stretch here, kind of like a humble downward facing dog. Keep the same engagement going through the legs. Inhale, halfway lift. Walk the hands all the way over towards the right edge of your mat, parallel the feet, and then take a fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And begin to rock the weight back and forth, heel to toe, to heel to toe. Just feeling what that center feels like. And when you're ready, allowing the whole foot to plant to the earth, toes slightly in, heels slightly out. Exhale, let it go. If your head easily reaches the mat, maybe you heel toe those feet in just a few inches, and then let go again. Inhaling, halfway lift. Exhale, walk your hands to the top of the mat, finding runner's lunge. Step it back, high plank. Full or modified, go through your flow. Deep breath in, and exhale, settle. Inhale, gazing forward. As you exhale, stepping, hopping forward. Find your fold. Inhale, halfway lift. As you exhale, bend those knees, sink the hips. Sweep the arms up to chair. From here, coming up onto the toes of that left foot. Lean it forward as you send the left leg back. Passing through warrior three. Allow those left toes to kiss the back of the mat as you rise up crescent lunge. Again, taking a moment to settle in, find that shape, find the engagement. As you're grounding through certain parts of the body, you're lifting yourself away from the mat with other parts. Inhale, find length, and exhale, settle. Inhale, open out, warrior two. Back foot spins down all the way, find that balance. Make sure you have that heel to heel or heel to arch alignment. Settle into the front knee bend. Front knee tracking with the second toe. Give yourself that invitation to maybe find just some light adjustments and movement as you settle in. Deep breath in. Exhale, sweeping the hands behind the back. Grab opposite elbows or interlace the fingers. Lift the heart. Take the gaze towards the top of the mat. As you exhale, lower the shoulders down inside that right knee. And fold. Maybe the gaze goes towards that back foot. And again, no duck butting out here. Try to pull that right hip and knee in. Draw that right hamstring back in space. As you're sinking into the feet, keep lifting yourself away from the mat using the fingers. And slowly bringing hands to the low back, and then all the way down to the earth. Begin to walk the hands away from the body at an angle as you stay here in this warrior two downward facing dog. Keep that right hip drawn in. Inhale, halfway lift. As you exhale, walk the hands all the way towards the left edge of your mat. Parallel the feet. This time as you fold, maybe grabbing onto the big toes, the outsides of the ankles, walking the hands through between the legs, and hang in your fold. Work to engage the glutes, spreading the hamstrings, driving the tailbone towards the sky. Draw the crown of the head closer towards the earth. Slowly release whatever you have a hold of. Inhale, find that halfway lift, find that length. And as you exhale, walk yourself to runner's lunge at the front of the mat. Step it back to plank, forward and down, going through your flow, and meeting in downward facing dog. Inhale, lifting the gaze forward. Exhale, walk, step, hop to the front of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, let it go. Earth to sky, rising all the way up. Inhale. As you exhale, bend those knees, sink the hips, find that chair pose. Rock the weight into the heels, send the tailbone back and down. Tuck the tailbone, knit the ribs together. Inhale, exhale, airplane the arms. Inhale, root to rise, right knee draws into the chest. So from here, bring those hands to heart center, and we're gonna open up the right inner thigh, taking the knee and hip to about a 45-degree angle. Right toes pointing down. From here, extend that right leg out. Exhale, draw it back in. So try to keep that knee either lower than 90 or at 90. Not trying to pull it all the way up. Just keep it there or lower as you inhale, extend. Exhale, bend. Inhale. Exhale, try to square the shoulders with the front edge of your mat. Inhale. Exhale. In. Out. Last one, in. This time as you draw the leg in, reach down for the foot or ankle and find your tree pose. Drawing that right foot wherever it feels comfortable. Maybe it's to the inside of the left ankle, maybe the calf, maybe the inner thigh. Just not the knee. Square the hips, square the shoulders with the top edge of your mat. Tuck the tailbone. Find a lift through the crown of the head as you press the foot and the inner thigh together. Draw that right knee back into space. Deep breath in and out. We're going to take one more, hoping that the dogs leave me enough space for our next pose. As you inhale, start to pull the right foot away from the inner thigh, lifting out to a side stork. So right knee reaches out towards the edge of your mat. From there, begin to open the shoulders, open the hips towards the right edge of your mat. As you find your half moon, slowly reach that left hand down, and then open up even more. Maybe the right leg stays bent for now. Right arm comes to the hip or reaches towards the sky. And then if you haven't yet, go ahead and extend that right leg. Reach the heel towards the back of the mat. Working to pull it down towards the earth so it's parallel. Deep breath in. And as you exhale, soften into that front knee. Allow the back foot to come down all the way as you rise up, passing through warrior two, reverse. Lift those left ribs towards the top of your mat. Reach the left fingertips back. Deep bend in that front knee. Inhale, exhale, settle. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, send the hips back and fall into your triangle. Try to keep the length through the sides of the body, reaching that base shoulder towards the top of the mat. Gazing down at the left foot, or up towards the right hand. Whatever feels most comfortable for you. And most importantly, tuck those hips towards the right edge of your mat. Deep breath in, lengthen through the right fingertips. And exhale, settle. Slowly bending that front knee, sweep the right arm towards the top of your mat as you roll up onto the back toes. Find that crescent lunge. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, hands to the earth. Stepping back to plank. Forward and down. Go through your flow. And meet in downward facing dog. Gazing towards the top of the mat. Walk, step, or hop it forward. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold. Earth to sky, all the way up with breath. And as you exhale, bend the knees, sink the hips. One last chair. Promise it's the last one. Nice and long through the spine, through the arms. Inhale. Exhale, airplane the arms, sink into your seat. And then as you rise up, left knee draws into the chest. As you find your balance, maybe those hands pass through heart center. And again, working to just have that hip and knee joint at 90-degree angles. We're gonna open up to a 45-degree angle so that left knee is pointing out towards the top corner of your mat. Tuck the tailbone under. Find that length, find the balance. Inhale, extend the left leg. Exhale, bend. Inhale, extend. And bend. Extending. Notice the engagement in the lower half of the body as you do this. Try to keep the upper body square with the top of your mat. One more. Extending. Next time as you bend, pulling that foot wherever you'd like to have it for your tree pose. When your foot is firmly in place, toes pointing down towards the earth, begin to find that stack of the body from the ground up. So from that right foot, all the way up through the right thigh bone, the hips, the shoulders, crown of the head. Lift the crown of the head, pull yourself away from the mat, and as you do that, you'll feel that engagement of the left foot and the right inner thigh. The lighter you can be through the upper body, the more open you can be through the hips. Slowly begin to release the left foot from the right inner thigh, coming to a side stork. So lift the left knee all the way out towards the side of your mat. Slowly begin to rotate the upper body in that same direction. And then lean down, reaching with that right hand for the mat. Open the hips and shoulders completely. Maybe pausing here with a bent knee as you find your hand placement with that left hand. And then begin to extend that left foot all the way towards the back of the mat, coming into your half moon. Tuck the hips underneath the body. Spread the right inner thigh towards the left edge of your mat. One more deep breath in. Lengthen yourself towards the top of the mat. Find that lightness. Exhale, soften into the front knee bend. Allow that back foot to settle down all the way. Passing through warrior two, reverse. Send the ribs towards the top of your mat as you reach the right fingertips back. Deep bend in that front knee. Hips still remain tucked. Deep breath in, find that lightness. Exhale, settle. Inhale, rising all the way up. As you exhale, find your triangle. Send those hips back. Open the shoulders up towards the left side of your mat. Adjust that back foot if you need to. And try to scrunch that left side of the body. Draw the left rib down, right shoulder forward. Remember, it's not important that those right fingertips make it to the earth. It's important to retain the length through the side body. Stack the hips, avoid that left shoulder rounding towards the earth. Deep breath in, reach for the sky. And exhale, allow the left hand to sweep by your side as you rotate forward, rising up through crescent. Find your balance. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, hands down to the earth. Stepping back, high plank. Shift it forward, lower down, and go through your flow. Meeting back in downward facing dog. Inhale, rising up onto the toes. Exhale, sinking the knees all the way down to the earth. Walk the hands in by your sides as you come up to a high kneeling position. Hips over the knees, shoulders over the hips. Inhale, sweep the arms up towards the sky. As you exhale, bringing the hands to the low back. So palms to the low back, fingertips facing down, or you can make fists with the hands, bringing those around the sacrum. Press the hips towards the front of your mat. Draw the elbows towards one another. Lift the heart towards the sky. So not really taking a back bend right now, just driving the hips forward, engage the glutes, and try to draw the collarbone skyward. Find that lift, find that lightness through the upper body. Deep breath in. As you exhale, now maybe you start to lean back. Keep drawing those elbows together. Keep breathing. Find that lightness through the upper body, and then maybe lean back a little bit more. One more breath in and out. Inhale, slowly rising all the way back up. Exhale, hands come to the mat. Tuck the toes under and lift the hips up and back. Walk the hands back by your sides, coming to your forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, let it go. Inhale, halfway lift, hint the fingertips, rise up onto the toes. Exhale, slowly return, knees back to the mat. From here, untuck the toes, bringing the tops of the feet to the earth. You can stay here if this is enough pressure on the quads or enough of a stretch on the quads, if you'd like to. Spidering the fingertips towards the back of the mat, begin to lean the weight back. Trying to keep the knees firmly on the earth. If you'd like some more, maybe coming down onto the forearms. And again, check in. If the knees are coming up away from the mat, walk it back a step. And because you're at home, I wouldn't necessarily recommend going all the way down, but if it's something that you know is in your practice, feel free to lower shoulders down towards the earth. Opening up those quads, opening up the psoas. If there's ever any pain, make sure you walk it back a step, listen to your body. Wherever you're at, try to soften in for 2 more breaths. Slowly returning all the way back up to that high kneeling position. Make sure to take some care with the body. We're going to pause here, just allowing the low back to reset. Allow the tailbone to tuck. And then slide the legs off to one side of your mat. Bringing the feet down, knees up. Roll all the way down onto your spine. Allow those heels to come in close to the glutes. As you press down into the mat, so this is building on everything that we did today. In your bridge pose, you'll notice that sense of grounding through the heels, through the back sides of the shoulders, as you find this lightness through the hips, allowing the glutes to lift you away from the mat. Hug the knees towards one another so that they're in line with the hips. So this yin and yang of grounding and lifting. Come back to the breath. One more breath in. And then release upper back, middle back, and low back all the way down. We'll set up for another bridge. If wheel is in your practice, feel free to add on. As you're ready, arms come down by your sides. Inhale, lifting up. Maybe just lifting the hips, coming back to bridge. Or maybe you bring those hands by the face, pressing up, coming to the top of the head first, finding the upside down, and then pressing through the hands, extending the arms. Again, in this wheel pose, finding that balance between grounding and lifting. With your breath, ground and lift. Ground to soften, lift to stretch. And then slowly lowering back down to the earth. Walking the feet wide. Allow the knees to fall together towards the midline as you find your constructive rest pose. Slowing down the breath, coming back into the body, and really here, just completely grounding yourself on the mat. No sense of lightness, no lifting here. Just allow the body to settle. And then begin to walk the feet back in so that they're in line with the hips. Bring those arms out to a T. And we'll find our spinal twist, whichever one's calling to you today. I always like the eagle legs. So crossing right thigh over the left, scooting hips to the right, and allowing knees to fall over to the left side of my mat. Just making sure that the legs fall to something. Maybe it's that blanket. Maybe it's that pillow or whatever you're using for blocks. Allow the lower half of the body to disengage. And again, finding that sensation of grounding here. And then slowly allowing the legs come back to center, uncrossing them, recenter the hips, moving your prop to the other side of your mat. And then trying to mirror what you did on the other side, crossing left leg over the right this time. Maybe moving hips to the left as the knees fall over to the right. Take a moment to set it up. Make sure you're able to soften into the earth. Finding that twist from head to tail by turning the gaze over the left shoulder. make our way slowly back to center, moving any props out of your way, recentering the hips on the earth, and then allow the legs to lift up towards the sky, pressing through the heels. Sweep the arms up overhead as well so that they're stacked above the shoulders. And let's just make circles in opposite directions with the feet and the wrists. And then reverse. And then keeping the arms lifted, just kind of hanging here, almost a dead bug pose. Allowing the spine to relax into the mat, the tailbone relaxes into the mat, the shoulders, back of the head. And then slowly allow the arms to drift down by your sides. Staying here in legs up the wall for your inversion. Or if you'd like to, coming into plow or your shoulder stand. If you're coming into plow or shoulder stand, you're going to find that sense of lightness again, pulling you away from the mat. And actually it's the balance between that heaviness and lightness. So maybe some heaviness through the back sides of the arms, through the backs of the shoulders, not through the neck, lifting through the hips, lifting through the feet, lengthening through the spine. Maybe you get light enough that you can walk those hands closer towards the upper back. And then slowly, wherever you're at, begin to soften into the knees. And slowly, with control, make your way all the way back down to the earth. Take this final moment to find any other poses that complete your practice. Grab any props that you might need for your final resting pose. And then take the time to set up. And as you're ready, allow that sense of heaviness to come over the body, starting with the eyes. Eyes become nice and heavy. Then the back of the head, the shoulders, the elbows, the backs of the hands, the hips, and the heels. Allow those inner thighs to open up towards the sky. Toes rotate out towards the edges of your mat as you find your Shavasana. And let's slowly begin to reawaken the body. Beginning with small movements at first. And then allowing those movements to become larger as they work their way up your body. And when the time feels right, just draw those knees into the chest and roll over to one side. With one last push of effort, making your way up to seated on the mat. Nice comfortable cross-legged position or easy seat. Sitting up nice and tall, hands come down by your sides. Inhale, circle, sweep the arms up overhead. And exhale, press the breath out and away. Inhale, rising up, reaching up, finding that lightness. And exhale, let it go. One more deep breath in from earth to sky, breathing in the energy and vitality we've created, and drawing it home to heart center, Anjali Mudra. Taking this energy out into the world and sharing it with everyone you meet. Honoring the light inside and teacher in us all. From my heart to yours, namaste. Thank you all for joining me tonight. I hope you are continuing to enjoy my crazy flows. And if you ever have any questions, you can always feel free to reach out to me on Facebook. It's Amanda Rupert Coronado. I'll see you guys next time.